And when we're talking about Donald Trump already, as well, let's bring a little bit controversy also to the conversation.
Hey, it always makes it fun.
Yeah, so Donald Trump or Joe Biden? I'm gonna make just a short opening, but I'm gonna let you speak way more than I'm usually speaking, in here. So everybody has already seen what I'm speaking and how long I'm speaking. So today the stage is going to be yours. So for all of the people who are new in here and who see it the first time or who see you the first time, I wanted to say a couple of words about you. So you are one of these guys who I have actually seen for a very, very long time. So I think we connected the first time like 7 or 8 years ago or something like that. And it happened only because you had already back then very strong social media presence. And this is also the reason why I found you. And I remember that I pitched you one project where I was in and you did not join. But from that moment on, it's like I have been following you. I have been seeing you everywhere. And you're definitely one of these guys who I had in top of my list, on top of my list, who I wanted to bring in. So actually, the first question, I'm going to give it to you, and then everybody also understands who you are. And the first question would be that if somebody else would introduce you, then what would they say? And stage.
Ooh, it depends. Are you asking my mom? Or are you asking, right? Like, no, that's a really good question. I mean, there's always the highlight version and then there's the behind the scenes version. And
Yeah.
I'll give a little bit of both. I mean, highlight version, I've been in the profession since 2008. I have 11 books. My podcast has been listened to by 160 countries. I was the top recruiter out of 1 million distributors. I transitioned into full-time coaching about 2017. So I'm not part of any company now. I just help all the companies, all the leaders. That's kind of high level.
Okay.
Behind the scenes, there were many more failures. So many failures we don't have time to go through. I remember my 5th month in network marketing, I worked about 80 hours a week and I made less than $400 for the month. So that just gives you a little bit of a taste because everyone always hears the highlight version. I've been through the highest of highs, been through the lowest of lows. I've been where I thought I arrived and don't have to work much. And I had to restart, right? Whether it's team left or company transition or changes or companies merging.
Mm-hmm.
I've been through a lot of trials and struggles. And I just call it, as John Maxwell teaches, fail forward faster. And that's what I did. I failed forward faster.
That's a very good topic. I just actually spoke with my wife like couple of it's like literally a couple of days ago when we had this topic on the table, and she was just talking about the failure, and is it like she's also a network marketer and she's a businesswoman and she has done a lot of stuff, and it's like there is a lot of people what is coming out who are saying like that the failure, like that you need to fail basically in order to become successful. So you see that there is any truth in it?
Yeah, it's in everything, right? Failure is the one thing that is required to have success. No one has success without that. So think of it as like an ingredient of making your favorite whatever dish, your favorite dinner, your favorite dessert. It's one of it's the key ingredient that's absolutely necessary. Now, you got to learn from the failure, right? You got to make sure you learn from it. But there's actually a really interesting study that Malcolm Gladwell talked about. He posed the question, think about this. Why do most child geniuses not have success? Think about that. And he said the reason is because they're put up on this pedestal, like so high and so good that they're scared to try and fail. So they try to make everything perfect. Whereas someone that's willing to fail forward, the average entrepreneur in the US had a 2.7 GPA out of 4, which is awful. I'm in that club, 2.7. And they have more success because their ego isn't high, like I'm this genius. Instead, they know I got to figure this out. So it's fail, 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 fail. So maybe only 1 out of 100 ideas is good of mine, but I tried 100 ideas. Whereas the child genius tries 3, and that's not enough. So maybe the child genius could have 1 out of 50 good, and I have 1 out of 100, but they're not going to make it because they're not willing to fail forward more.
You brought out a very good point, and the GPA. So like I have a belief regarding this as well, that maybe the bad grades in a school, like if you are not having a good grades, then it just forces you to look from outside of the box solutions, and then it's like it creates like more creativity, and then people are looking like, okay, what else I could do, like if these guys are ahead of me regarding these you know like a traditional ways, so that what is my way for keeping up with that, or creating something better, or even maybe this is a force that if nobody believes in you, then you're gonna have like this feeling that fuck is like I need to be there to prove the world and prove all of these guys that is like I can actually be better. It's like even if I don't have like the same whatever upbringing.
Yeah. Yep. So I've got a whole like article I've written in, like lots of content for very similar to what you just said. It's just basically, if you're ambitious, that's the key thing.
Yeah.
Then when you don't get good grades, you're forced to put yourself out there, like you said, and get creative and fail more. And you also don't have this cush job that you just rely on, where you're stuck in maybe the middle.
I agree.
Forces you to create greatness. So either if you have bad grades, either you're usually great or you suck. There's no in between. Usually, not always, but usually it's more you're great or you're really bad.
Yeah.
Whereas if you get great grades, usually you're just stuck in the middle, and that's generally speaking.
Kind of, yeah. So I see also actually all of these people who are like who was in my school doing like really well. They are all in the most ordinary jobs until today. Is like there are tens of years like actually doing this, and none of them are entrepreneurs. And all of these guys who were who were actually not very good in school, they're like pretty successful entrepreneurs. So definitely there is like some kind of correlation in there.
Yep.
So what, like if we talk about you, that now is like people who are listening, they a little bit understand who is Rolf Sperry, successful guy, has given out a lot of books, doing coaching for the people. What makes you like a great coach, or what you see that what you have, what other people don't have, or other coaches? What makes you special in that?
Yeah, I think of course, every coach has their own unique strengths and weaknesses. Not every coach resonates to everyone, which is okay. I'm not trying to be everything to everyone, but my uniqueness, I mean, number one is I did it. I had this success. I'm not trying to teach something I didn't do. I was the number one recruiter out of 1 million distributors. And I think that brings experience. It brings credibility. I also had a lot of failures, so I can resonate, connect with both success and failures. And I had success multiple times. So it wasn't like, sometimes people get lucky where they had good people on their team and momentum. I never built momentum. I don't know what momentum is. I always created it myself, which I believe is true wealth, is ability, right? It's not what you have in the bank. And so I created that. And so I think, that's first and foremost. I think the second thing is my approach is to really take complex information and simplify it in a way that makes sense to everyone, where they're like, oh, like I kind of understood. Now I really understand. But after that, it's always to get them into action. So there's nothing wrong with motivation. I like motivation, but it doesn't last. And we know we need to constantly get it. There's nothing wrong. I constantly get it. I read / listened to personal development this morning, but we need coaches that have enough experience that can get people into action to get results. So it's not, how many times you've been to like some big company convention, the guy is the best speaker ever, but you walk away. Did anyone do anything and change their lives? No, but it sounded good. So my goal is always results, where I give motivation and I inspire them enough, right, from the mind and the heart. But then after that, it's to give them set small things that I get them to actually take action to make a difference in their lives and in their business. And that's not easy. Look, everyone wants to get people to take action, right? And that's the uniqueness is I've had success because I've helped a lot of other people have success in taking action who were, I mean, I had one client I remember that had never made over 4,000 a month. And within a year, I got her to 50,000 a month. I'm not saying that's normal. It's not. I had another leader that hadn't made money in 30 years. And I got her to a check over 200,000 for the month. Now, I'm not taking all the credit either. A coach can only coach and help. The player and the distributor and the leader deserves the most credit. I realize that. I understand that. But having those type of success stories to draw upon really helps a ton, because they knew I could do it, but it's like, can I actually get other people to do it? I didn't know. I thought I could. I didn't know until they did.
But right now is like, if I go a little bit deeper into it, and I'm 100% with this, like you cannot teach anything or coach on anything where you don't have an experience, or at least I don't believe that it's going to be very, very good advice. And I see a lot of gurus today are talking about the stuff, but they actually like people are teaching how to get how to sell their courses online or something, and the courses are teaching how to sell the courses online. So it's like it's kind of like this kind of thing that one is like boosting just the same thing what they're doing, or make how to make your YouTube videos successful in order to make their YouTube videos successful or something like that, And it's like if you said that the last time you were in a field was 2017, if I understood correctly from
that's when I focused on it.
Yeah. So now you are basically out of active recruitment, at least in network marketing, for 7 years. So now also during the 7 years, are these, is it like the industry itself, like the principles in the industry, does it change as well, or like the things what you learned before is also today?
So my biggest concern when I went into coaching was I'm not building it anymore. So am I going to kind of lose what's happening and not be intuitive? And the opposite happened. It was interesting. I actually feel more in tune now than ever, because I have all the top leaders. I mean, we've talked about it. I've got my leaders masterminds. It's all 6, 7, and 8 figure earners. I do 3 a year all over the world, right? I've got Mallorca, Spain later this year. I've done Bora Bora, Reddit Island, Belize. I've done all over the world. And I did Monte Carlo last year. And imagine having 20 to 30 top industry leaders coming to you, giving you all of their greatest strategies and all their weaknesses and vulnerabilities. So now, even though I'm the coach and I'm teaching, I'm actually learning the most, because I know what's going on with every leader and company. I'm generalizing as much or more than anyone in the entire profession. And when I say as much, of course, there's about 5 of us probably. You got Eric Worre, Ray Higdon, Fraser Brooks, myself, Coach Fryer, and Simon Chan, and maybe a couple others, but there aren't that many that, are that plugged in. And because they do in-person masterminds, which is super rare, pretty much it's just Eric Worre and I that are really doing those. I get like these really good insights. So for me, it's helped me to actually learn more and be able to help people more over the course of the last 7 years. And I really specialize on 2 main things. Number one is leadership, right? I help people, because a lot of times I want to go from 5 figures to 6 figures a month, sometimes a year, and sometimes 7 figures a year. And then I focus on social media. And those are the 2 main things. So the principles never change, but the techniques are changing. Let me give you an example. A technique that we used to teach was just 3-way calls. The principle is third-party validation, right? The principle is still the same, third-party validation. The technique now has Zooms, messenger chats, right? And so the technique evolves, but the principle is the same. social media. This is as of the last month. Now I teach people to let their stories on Instagram expire every other day rather than posting stories every day, because I found with my testing and the algorithm, they get a lot more views than they used to. So that if you would ask me 6 months ago, it would have been different than today. So the technique changed, and it's always changing. The principles are always the same.
Okay. So you were talking about the Instagram stories. This is actually a question what I have as well, is like, if you share with you, is like, what is the conversion, or how many people are going to reach out for you, like from this space, like you have, let's say, per every 1,000 or 5,000 views, what you get is like, how many people are going to contact you?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's a lot different because it's coaching. So a lot of it's just value until I do, like, I've got a free masterclass I do tonight. And so then I'll pitch that, 3 different times for that week, every 5 weeks. And I'll get thousands of people that join it. I don't know the conversion because Instagram doesn't show you conversions.
Okay.
And because I'm sending it out via like email list and everything.
Yeah.
But I'll focus a lot on value. And of course, then I'll have a mastermind. So it's value. And it's like, hey, you got a mastermind. And people see there's so much value that either they don't like my style and they block me, unfriend me, unfollow me, mute me, or they love my style and they comment and like and follow. And then eventually, like, I want whatever you're selling because I love your free stuff. I can only imagine how much your paid stuff's value is. And so I'm not trying to be everything to everyone, right? And it's just to riches. And so yeah, conversion on Instagram is impossible just because they don't give you like those.
But for you, it's like the beginning of a funnel. So this is basically like your name list.
Oh yeah, it's create awareness, right, from the top of the funnel.
Yeah.
And I do that on social media. Let people get to know me, my style, my personality, my value. And then after that, right, they'll start to see some of my content that they can invest in.
Okay, that's good. So before you were mentioning also your books, I was actually finding from your webpage 4 books, and actually I did not know that you have written much more. In Amazon I see that there was 2, I think, what was popping up, but like, what is your latest, or actually what is the most important book in your what you have created, and what you suggest for people to take it as a maybe the first one?
Yeah. The game of networking and the game of conquering are really close. Game of networking teaches you how to be a networker, which helps you, right, to generate leads and warm up those leads and just network in general with everyone and everything. And that one's really important. And then the game of conquering is really important because I think it's the only book that focuses on mindset for network marketing. There's a lot of mindset books, but the only mindset book for network marketing that I know of. And so any one of those 2 books is super important to start with. It doesn't matter which one of the 2.
Do you have anything about closing as well?
About closing?
Yeah, closing the sales.
Oh yeah. I've got, I'm looking up here, like, all the different books that I have. You've got the Ultimate Script Book, and the Ultimate Script Book is going to give some closing stuff and give you exact scripts for everything. Okay. You've got your rank advancement blueprint, and that's all on like the different tiers of leaders and how you go from a follower to a leader, a leader of followers. And so it's all about leadership. Ultimate Script Book would be a lot more of just specific scripts for every situation, social media, non-social media, everything.
Okay. And why did you start writing the books?
At the beginning, I just felt like I had content of how I had success and I wanted to share with people and just kind of put it down on paper. And it took me 8 years to write the first book because I was so scared of it being bad and what people thought. So it kept turning into another year. And then the second book took 2 years because I was like, well, what if it's not as good as the first? And then after the second book, I was like, some are going to like it, some aren't. I don't care. I'm just going to do my best.
Okay. So when is the next book coming? Or next one is already in process?
The next book's done. I just haven't promoted it yet. I think you can pre-order on
Okay, so
Amazon,
this
but
first time when we promote it, then Die with
yeah, Die with Memories, Not Just Dreams. So
nice.
this will be taking basically my greatest hits from all my speeches that like people love the most, and I kind of just summed it up and created a very unique message with it. So a very powerful message, and gives people steps to achieve anything they want in their life, but also in their business. So set steps. So that book's probably the one I'm the most passionate about. So that'll be launched here soon.
Okay, and it's gonna be available in your website,
It's
Amazon.
going to be available for sure on Amazon, everywhere. We're still
Yeah,
deciding if we're going to do a website or not, because website's great for profits and email
yeah.
lists, but if you do all Amazon, it helps the search engine. So I'm giving you guys behind the scenes of like, you're kind of like which do I do, you know?
Okay. How many books have you sold? If it's not like a secret, I don't know if it is like a very
Oh,
sensitive
I
information.
honestly, I don't know. Like it doesn't, it's like weird on Amazon. It doesn't say. I've sold a lot, like personally, especially like you
Okay.
think I go to an event, sometimes I bring 200 books.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I sold thousands of books right when it launches, like just in the first couple of weeks, to give you an idea. So tens and tens of thousands of books, which is fun. I mean, I'm right after this, I'm talking with a company owners
Yeah.
because they found my book and they read it and they like it. So now I'm getting on with their whole corporate team, it was my first book. I'm like,
Okay.
that's crazy. I wrote that book 7 years ago and I'm getting paid from it now because people like the book. And so it's not so much making a lot of money from the book
Yeah.
because the margins are slim. It's what it leads to for everything else. So I highly encourage everyone to start writing a book.
Okay. And right now, maybe a strange question, but it's like if you when you were starting in network marketing, did you see that coming?
No,
No, not at all.
no,
Why did you join overall
no.
in the first company?
Yeah, I didn't the book thing. I think it was about 2 or 3 years in. I thought maybe I could, but I was so scared, so I just started creating thoughts and ideas, and that's why it took me 8 years to write. Because I just didn't know how or what, or I'm not a good writer. I'm a really good speaker now. I'm not a good writer, so
Well, I
it
think
took a while to try to figure out.
many best-selling books what is about self-development are not
Oh,
very well written. If if
yeah,
I would tell it, it's like
it's
it's
true.
a very simple language. Like even if you're taking this, it's kind of a mandatory for everybody. It's like to go through the rich dad poor dad in the beginning when you're starting your journey. But this
So
is also not
true.
it's like a kids also can read it. And one of these things what you said also in the beginning is that if one of your skills is to make the things very simple for people to understand, maybe it's like that's the case. So it don't need to be like having a crazy style behind it, or that the people who are really into reading, that they can see, wow, it's like Rob Sperry style is like, I really like how he is writing, but what this book is about and who is going to serve. Definitely more important in my opinion. So for me, it's like very simple things have opened my mind.
Yep,
It's
you
like
nailed it.
true. It's like,
Yeah,
or for example, it's like one of these books, like what I read, I think what was changing a massive, like for me, like everything was from Donald Trump, and it was Think Big. Donald Trump,
yeah.
somebody else probably have read the book as well. So it's like for me, create a totally different mindset, and I understand that it's like all of these things what I do is like so irrelevant, and I'm worried about so small stuff. Is like it's like it just doesn't matter. So that was kind of the time when I started like going over the fears, and started shaking hand of the random people who I did not know, and it's like I get a lot of inspiration also from there. And of course there is many books, but absolutely this might be the thing. And when we're talking about Donald Trump already as well, let's bring a little bit controversy also to the conversation.
Hey, it always makes it fun.
Yeah, so Donald Trump or Joe Biden?
Oh, it's not even close. It's Trump, and like not even close. Not even
Okay.
close.
Okay. I was actually thinking that as well. And you,
Yeah. And
the straight,
I don't like identifying with a political party, because
yeah.
there's always things I agree with and disagree with both sides, but
Yeah.
one guy can't even carry a sentence on. Like, I don't care who you are. Like, you can't have someone leading a country that can't finish a sentence. Like,
Yeah.
you
No.
can't. You can't. That's like leadership 101. So it doesn't matter your beliefs or not. You can't
Absolutely.
have that.
Absolutely, I agree with you. And of course, like I'm Estonian, I have nothing to do with overall in USA.
Yeah.
And what is the funny thing is, and I don't want to actually continue too much on the politics. It's definitely not my topic. But like one very strange thing is that I have never seen in the past so many people from different countries living up for one guy in another country to become a president or to be on the power again than it is for Donald Trump. This is like pretty crazy where we are right now in the world. So now we were talking about the books. One question what a lot of people still asking today is that is network marketing a scam? What would you say for that? You are
Yeah. I
speaking
mean,
about
it's
it. You're
like,
teaching the coaches. You know all the insights. You have got a lot of information. You read the books and write the books about it. You have experience in it. What would you say?
yeah.
I know you
Yeah. The
say no,
first,
but why?
yeah. No, well, the first thing I do actually is ask questions. What do you mean? Because
Yeah,
a lot of times they don't mean something negative. Sometimes they do,
yeah,
but a lot of times, like, what do you mean it's a scam? Like, how is it a scam? And so I ask a lot of questions. And if they still think, well, it's because you signed someone up who signed someone up who signed someone up and you make money off of that,
mm,
I asked the question. I said, okay. I said, but my understanding, and I try not to be defensive, I said, you let me know if it's different,
mm,
but isn't that how business works with everything to a degree? I mean,
mm,
don't you have like the CEO, CFO, CMO, COO, president, vice president, managers? And I said on and on. And doesn't the person at the top make the most money? And I said, what are the odds that you're going to make more than the CEO of a big company?
yeah,
And I said, isn't it the same thing when you go to a school? You got like the principal, right? The vice principal. Like I said, you got the teachers. Like, isn't like, I'm like, it's just similar. I said, but I said, there's some things misinterpreted. And they're like, oh, what? I'm like, the person at the top doesn't make all the money. And they're like, wait, what do you mean? I'm like, if you come in and you don't do anything, you don't make money. I let them know that I made more money than the person that was directly above me, both companies that I
mm,
built. And they're like, really? I said, so it's great because you are incentivized to help people, but you also have requirements to do your parts. And if you don't build other distribution channels, I said, then they're like, you don't deserve the credit for it all. So they've created a really good structure where you're incentivized to help your people, which is really cool. Cause I'm like, imagine a job. In a job, if I train someone to be as good as me or better than me, they can get a promotion over me. So you're kind of holding back. In this, I
mm,
want you to make as much as money as you can because that helps me and
yeah,
you. And so I kind of explain it in a way where they understand logically of like, yeah, there are misinterpretations. Like there's only so much you can pay on a dollar. I said, and we also think of it this way, think of all the money that's spent, hundreds of millions of dollars of like a Coca-Cola for ads. There's
mm,
nothing wrong with that.
mm,
We take all that ad spend out, all that
yeah,
marketing ad spend out, and we pay people instead of paying for PR and advertisement and
yeah,
commercials and billboards. I said, it's different. It's not necessarily better or worse, depends on who you talk to.
mm,
I said, you just get credit for it. And then I finished with, imagine if you go to the movies. And if you love a movie, you go tell 5 people. And then those 5 people tell 5, who tell 5, who tell 5. And you could legit have an impact on thousands of people seeing the movie. You don't get credit for it. You just like the movie because
mm,
they're spending all their marketing budget on commercials
yeah,
and advertising propaganda.
yeah,
Well, imagine if they just shift it and said, no, we're not going to spend any money there. We're going to allocate it and we're going to create our own system, which is we've done it for, you know, almost 100 years. So we've got really good at knowing who to pay and how much and where to allocate it and give the credits to the right people. I said, so I think it's just a lot of just misunderstanding when people say scam, because it's a $200 billion plus profession, which is really, really big. And they're like, I didn't think of it that way. So I try to do it in a non, like, I trust me, when I was young, I did it very like, like, what? You're in the real pyramid scheme, right? Corporate America is the real pyramid scheme. And it took me some time to like chill out, be a little more confident and secure, right?
No, for sure. It's like if you're, I think also like if you're coming into protective position, then it's not gonna change anything. But what do you think? Why people are thinking like that? Because right now it's like if we're taking a network marketing or today referral systems in a whatever publicly known like big companies, so everybody's actually giving out referral bonuses as well. So what is the reason why now one company is considered as like, you know, no, and the other company what is doing exactly actually the same thing but paying out way lesser money is now is like a good thing?
Yeah, I think it's human nature. People, even though a lot of people pitch it wrong, and so some of it's deserved. And even though you tell them it's not easy, some people hear and think and hope that somehow they can get in. And if they find 2 or 3 people who are really good, and then they find 2 or 3 and they find 2 or 3, it's like, I did very little work and I make a ton of money. And so then when it doesn't work, then they're equally upset as they were excited. So now the pendulum shifts complete to this end. And now they're mad. They lost money when they thought they were going to make an insane amount of money. Maybe their upline leader pitched them wrong. Like, it's going to be so easy. We're going to make so much. And so now when someone has a negative experience, there's been studies where they tell like 20 people versus when they have a positive, they tell like 2 or 3. And so now they're like, now they're telling everybody. And so it spreads. So a lot of people just don't teach it like a real business, like you do, right? Like I did. And they truly teach it like a get rich quick. And when it doesn't work for someone, they're even more mad than ever before. And so they tell everyone, yeah, it's a scam. They told me I was going to make money easy. It doesn't work. I talked to friends and family who rejected me. And so the pain of being rejected by people that they know, I lost money. I lost friends. I had all this hope and ambition. Total scam. It sucks, right? And that's kind of the attitude they take. The pendulum shifts to the other side. Whereas you think those same people, if they were making $2,000 a month with a product that they love and they had great, you know, more time freedom, they would be saying that? No. They're saying it because it didn't work for them. And well, and sometimes what sucks
but in the beginning, the reality is like when we do something the first time, we're gonna suck and
and they were taught that they were gonna get it quick. When they don't. They don't have like a business entrepreneur mindset. Whereas if they went into it of like, I'm going to give this thing 3 years, different set of expectation. They go into it like it's like a lottery ticket, right?
I agree with you there. Do you think that everybody can do it?
Everyone who's willing, I believe, can do it. And when I say can, of course, it's willingness is a key word. At what level? And how fast, and what do they want? So when we say can we do it, we have to define what that means, because to one person making $200 a month is life-changing money, and to another person they want to make $10,000 a month, and they're mad at $200 a month.
Okay, but let's if we put in place also these terms that assuming that every person is working on it as much as the other person. So it's like why I believe why it doesn't work for most of the people is that they don't put enough work in. And like if you're going to the work every day as an employee, you're working 8 hours per day, plus you're driving to the work, you're going to be always on time, you're going to show up, you're going to do exactly what you're told or what you're supposed to do. And if you would put the same thing, that preparation, then you go to the work every day, 8 o'clock, you're starting to do your network marketing business, you're going to grind for 8 hours, and like you're going to make a break at lunch, you have half an hour break or whatever stuff, and then you're going to, you know, how likely it is that it's not going to happen for some of the people.
Yeah. I look at it, I think if you put in the time and the right kind of time, because people fake work where they work hours, but they're not reaching out to new
It's
people.
the same with the work. It's the same with the work.
Yes.
Like if you need
So
to do something
put in the
at work
right
and you do
work.
something else, you're gonna get fired.
Yes. If you put in the right work,
Yeah.
I believe everyone will have a degree of success. The question is how much, how fast.
True.
But I believe, I'm not making guarantees or promises, but from what I've seen, everyone has, and again, I know success is defined differently by different people. I believe they're going to make it. Like I've just seen too many people, but like you said, no one treats it like that. They do like, how hard do you work? I work 40 hours this week. How many new people did you reach out to? 2? You could have done that in 2 minutes.
Yeah. True.
Right? It's like,
true.
You didn't really work. You fake worked. You're trying to pretend work. And the comp plan doesn't care how many hours you put in. It doesn't look at hours. It looks at rewards, and rewards are going to come from, sales are going to come from actually doing the right work.
So what is the myth or like something what people believe that it is there and what is actually not there in network marketing? As like over the years when you're in business, what you would say that what is number one myth what people should not believe in network marketing?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of beliefs. I mean, one, they think the person at the top makes all the money. They think they have to be in at the very beginning of the company, which when you look at the legacy multi-billion-dollar companies, actually the people that joined after 5 years made the most amount of money because the company worked out its kinks.
Yeah.
And they were poised for real growth and momentum. So when you look at the legacy type companies, it's not the people that were in the first 5 years. None of them. Like go look at the top billion-dollar companies. Like the vast majority of top earners were after the first 5 years. And so the common belief is people bank too much on luck and timing. I'm not saying timing doesn't help. It's a great amplifier. Great amplifier for sure. But timing and momentum are always going to come and go in the right companies. It never lasts for any company in the entire world. Doesn't matter if you're Tesla, if you're Apple, right? You're never just going to go straight up. It's not reality. And so I think that's the biggest myth is people are banking on luck and timing and positioning rather than trying to be better. Like as Jim Rohn says, don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, that's it. Focus on becoming better instead of getting lucky.
And how would you do that? Well, like it's like if you can give like one like idea, how people can
fail forward faster. But I would say that it's learn. So read my book, listen to my podcast. They're free. But then it's action. And then it's learn. And then it's apply. It's not learn. Action. It's the opposite. It's learn, action. So the real learning comes from action. So a little bit of learning, lots of action.
One mentor of mine, I just remember, told a while ago when I got started is that in every morning take the motivation, and every evening do like the things what is developing the skills. Then it's like and I have found that this is actually like really good way how to go forward, and you're going to be way more motivated, and also you're going to be like always kind of in the right place, and is like the stuff what to do. And also maybe one very simple thing for the viewers is when you are doing presentations, like when presentations is part of your business, or this is like one of the main skills, in my opinion, what you need to learn in network marketing to become very good at it, then practice the presentation in front of a camera, and then it's like you are reviewing the video what you made for yourself. And if you can see that you could sell for yourself, then you're probably good enough. And if you're not, then maybe you should practice again. So
so true.
So very simple thing. And what is in your opinion number one skill? What you should have in network marketing, or what is the most relevant maybe today's network marketer to learn?
Yeah, it's still prospecting and recruiting, because
number one, direct sales, then basically.
Yeah, because if you don't, then there is no follow-up. If you don't, there is no close. If you don't, there is no duplication. If you don't, there is no retention. So everyone's like, well, retention. I'm like, there is no retention if I don't prospect or recruit, right?
Yeah.
So that's still the top of it. Now, of course, there's like, well, how can I better prospect and recruit? There's social media strategies. There's like my script book for scripts and inviting, right? There's all of that stuff as well that adds to it. But that's the main thing is, and prospecting recruiting can be for customers as well. Of course, customers are so important and relevant. But that's the most important for sure.
Okay. Okay. So now it's like you were talking before about coaching other people and like all these things what you have learned from the other people, and you're better today because of the work what you have been doing together with the people. So what would be maybe the biggest, like the most important things to share regarding this what you have learned from these guys who are on the field today?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what level you're at, right? If we're dealing with high level leaders, I mean, if you're dealing, I mean, but the common principle is you got to stay plugged in and you got to stay productive. You can't cheat the grind. And a lot of the beginners, they're used to trading time for money. So when they start, like we talked about earlier, they'll work a lot of hours, but their efficiency is so low. It's like you could have done that in an hour. Then as leaders, they feel like, why put my time and work in? And they think I want to be retired. And I think that's such a bad way to pitch it, because there's nothing that you ever build that you fully, truly retired. Now you have more freedom, flexibility, options, but you still got to stay plugged in. They're still following your lead, your example. And maybe it's higher level. Maybe there's, seasons where you work a little bit less, but you still have to find ways as a leader to be productive always. So it's a different type of productive in a sense as a top leader, but the principle is the same of always being actively engaged, and don't become a has-been leader, right? Because then organizations crumble. I've seen it over and over. Or if you're a newbie, don't be the worker who has zero efficiency on your production, and you're not reaching out to new people. You're just listening to 50 podcasts and doing no work. And so it always comes back to stop focusing on how much time, start focusing on what you do with the time you spend first. Then as you get good at that, you can increase the amount. But the beginning is like, stop using the metric of I work 20 hours.
Yeah.
Right. The metric should be like, if I knew how many new invites did you make, right? And then increase that more rather than trying to increase your hours as you go. So you're focused on efficiency. And it's a different level of that when you're a leader of focusing on efficiency. And there's that, I mean, that could be like a whole hour of training. It is a whole hour of training, efficiency for leaders, but that's the gist.
So before we're going to wrap it up, also, I think we have like about 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
About personal brand, how important it is today to create, as a network marketer, a personal brand, give out YouTube videos, make Instagram stories, like all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, look at it this way. You never know. You just never know what's going to happen with your company. You love your company. That's great. You don't know. No one knows. It's impossible to know. We've seen the biggest companies outside of network marketing have failures. We've seen the biggest ones inside. It's just, we just never know. Your brand, you can control. And the one thing we can rely on, right, is our network. And of course, our knowledge, but our network, a lot comes from the personal brand we built. And so that's a great insurance policy for you, but also a great growth strategy. So you get both the short-term growth now and the long-term insurance policy for you to create that security and long-lasting business. So I believe that don't overthink it at the beginning. Like, what's my brand? Who's my perfect audience? All that stuff's actually really good and important. But at the beginning, yeah, just create. And as you go, you'll start seeing like, no one likes this stuff. Wow, people are commenting and sharing and commenting and liking this. And you'll learn, if you just put consistent content out, which your audience connects and relates with, and that tells you what you should focus on for your own personal brand. It's not a different version of you. It's just what part connects with other people the best.
Yeah, and one thing what is boring for one guy is not boring for another one. So some people like to collect dead butterflies, and the other ones like the football, and there is audience for both. So it's like today looking the YouTube or whatever is like you find like different kind of channels what have like a lot of followers and what does not connect with you maybe at all. It's like
So true.
it's wild, and the internet space is so big. I feel that this is so relevant place where to be overall for the people. And the one thing what I wanted to ask as a final question for you in the end, and now it's like you can go 2 minutes 2 minutes on it because this is the time what we have left. And the question is that if you would be remembered by only one thing in the future, that who was Rob Sperry, and what would it be?
Die with memories, not dreams. That's my underlying message when I start, because it's about vision and perspective. I do 5 to 7 family vacations every year. I do 2 with just my wife every year. When our kids turn 12, because we have 2 boys, 2 girls, they do a trip with the opposite gender parent. When they turn 16, same gender parent, anywhere they want in the world. My daughter just went to Australia for 2 weeks with my wife. My son's 19. When he was 16, I took him to Dubai for 2 weeks. That was like 3 years ago, though.
Okay.
And we just are all about creating memories. I coach my kids' high school tennis teams 25 hours a week because I have enough money and time that I can do that. I do teenage mastermind sessions every single month for like 20 of the teenage kids. It's all about die with memories, not dreams. And that's why I wrote the next book coming out. So for me, if there's something that I would want, on my tombstone, it would be die with memories, not dreams.
Nice. I really, I really love it. I want to read your book. Yeah. So
You'll love it, man. You'll love it. It'll be out soon enough.
okay. Well, for sure. It's like I'm gonna keep my word. I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna be one of your first ones, and maybe I'm gonna be also one of these guys who are gonna give the what is called the when I give like a feedback, how it is in English.
Feedback.
Yeah, like a feedback, but positive thing, but you have in a website.
Oh, review. Yeah, review.
Yeah. Exactly. So maybe
I love that.
one of
I'll
one
take
of these
all the
guys.
reviews I can get.
then I'm gonna also become more famous. So okay, so thanks Rob for being in here today. I know that you're a super busy guy and you have multiple goals ahead today.
Well,
so
thank you. I appreciate what you're doing. It's always great when someone's willing to put themselves out there. You're building your brand by providing just immense value. So I appreciate all you guys. Share with us in the comments what resonated the most with you.
yeah,
And that helps give us feedback on what to focus on, right? For our personal brand and value and giving back. And come find me, whether it's my podcast or social media. Just look up my name and I'll do my best to say hello.
super. I'm gonna leave your links also down below so people can go and check it out. And maybe if I'm gonna go to one of the coaching venues of Rob Sperry, maybe we are gonna meet in there with some of the people who are watching in here and see Rob the first
For
time.
sure.
By that. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. Thank you, Rob. And
thanks, Ken. I appreciate it, my man.
Thank you.